but it's very rewarding when you hit the target. You throw a frisbee up in the air, it's this orange, clay pigeon. You chase it across the sky and you attempt to hit it. Usually you have 25 shots to hit it. I've only done that once. Proud to say I have. But I really enjoyed the hobby with my dad, right? It was something that I enjoyed spending time with him doing. It's something we shared together. When I was 17 years old, I wasn't checking out the newspaper too often or the news, but I heard that they were trying to limit my ability to utilize a long gun in California under the age of 18. I started scratching my head. Who is this organization? Who are these people up in this strange town called Sacramento trying to limit my ability to have a fun hobby with my dad? Right? That's how I viewed it. I didn't view it as pro 2A or gun control or anything like that. I viewed it how most people in the state view politics. And so that's how I got my start. That's the day that I decided, hey, I'm going to be a conservative. I'm going to fight for rights. I'm not going to try to take them away. Right? That's part of what it means to be a conservative. Now, my book here, and I'll show you real quick, my book, California's Toughest Challenges and the Common Sense Conservative Ways to Solve Them. I wrote this because we have a lot of problems here in California. A lot. Whether it's wildfires, whether it's water scarcity, homelessness, education, you name it, we got a problem, right? I think I hit 3 potholes on the way down here. By the way, I live in Bonzel, so those are pretty good numbers relatively. Right?
Really good.
Not bad, not bad. But ultimately, we have a lot of tough challenges. But we have common sense conservative ways to solve them. So that's why I wrote this book. And what we've seen across the state, let's talk about crime real quick, right? Who can agree crime is out of control?
Yay!
Absolutely out of control. In fact, In-N-Out just recently shut down their first location in the history of the company. A great company, by the way, employs many, many Californians across the state. But they shut down their first location. They did it because of crime in the state, right? In Oakland, where this location was set up, there were smash and grab robberies, people's cars were getting broken into. It was right next to the airport, horrible situation. So they closed down their first location. But that's not it. We're also seeing porch pirates across the state. I've had Amazon packages stolen off my front porch, super frustrating, right? But why is this happening? What led to this situation? Why can't DAs, why can't police officers go ahead and put people behind bars who commit crime? Have you ever heard of Prop 47?
Yes.
Prop 47, I would say, is to blame, right? For those that aren't familiar with Prop 47, it was passed years ago by voters. In fact, I think I was under the age 18, so I couldn't vote. I blame all of you for that, not me. But it was a big problem. If you're committing a crime, it's under $950, you can kind of walk free, right? And there's a whole bunch of different implications with it, especially with drug trafficking and fentanyl and whatnot, but a huge problem nonetheless. But I want us to remember 8 important words that you need to walk away from today. It does not have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. In fact, science says if I say it 7 times, you'll remember it better, so I might say it a few more times. But ultimately, I want you to realize that just because something is doesn't have to be, right? We can create a change here. And as conservatives, we have really good ideas, really good concepts of how to run a really successful and prosperous society, right? A really great state. We just have to get that message out. This is one great way to do it, right? An open forum where people can come and speak and have a conversation and talk about what it means to be a conservative. But it doesn't have to be this way. So the next time, I challenge you, the next time that you go into a Walgreens, the next time you go into a CVS, and you walk in, you're trying to get that deodorant or that razor or some shampoo, whatever it is, and you finally get to aisle 23 all the way in the back, which took you way too long to get to in general, because every single store is laid out completely different, very odd. When you finally get to that shampoo, and you look for it, and you look at the aisle, what do you see? A locked cabinet, right? So in your mind, think of those 8 words. It does not have to be this way. Click that red button, wait for that associate to get over there in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then when they get there, say those 8 words. It does not have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. Now you're going to get 1 of 2 responses from that associate. Number 1, they're either going to say, okay, and shrug and walk away right after unlocking the cabinet. That's okay. They're not ready for the conversation yet. The second thing they'll say is, what do you mean? What do you mean it doesn't have to be this way? Right? Because just like when I was trap shooting with my dad, I didn't realize that there was politics affecting my life. Maybe this associate doesn't realize that politics are affecting theirs. It does not have to be this way. That's when you can invite them into the conversation, explaining Prop 47, these issues of electing overwhelmingly liberal people into office that cause a lot of problems for our state, right? You invited them into that conversation, and truthfully, they invited you by saying, what do you need? Let's say you're at the gas station. You're filling up the tank, it seems like every single time, the price continues to go up. Say those 8 words again. It does not have to be this way. And then someone's standing next to you, filling up their truck for $200 now. I mean, it's say for far too much. They say, what do you mean? And you can explain that, hey, there's 50-something cents per gallon of tax added on to every gallon of gasoline. That's in addition to the fact that we have over-regulation of environmental regulations in the state that require us to use a special type of gasoline that's really only used in California. So we're getting the most expensive gas, and we're paying so much tax on top of it. That's when you can explain that.
Special plan? Yeah.
Again, bringing politics to someone's everyday. You guys are doing great work here, right? Inviting those conversations to the community. I'm a part of San Diego Young Republicans. We're doing the same thing. We're having conversations all around the county, whether it's at a social happy hour where people can just get together and talk shop and talk politics. We're doing it through volunteerism, and we're also doing it with local elected officials, right? School board members and water district folks, fire districts. We're having those conversations about what are their toughest challenges in California and how do they recommend we solve them. So continue to have that conversation. Remember, our goal is to win over friends, it's to win over families, to win over neighbors. But we can only do it one conversation at a time. I identify as Republican. That's how I'm registered. I know not every conservative registers that way, and that's totally fine. But right now, Republicans are in a terrible minority in the state. We haven't held statewide office in many, many years, probably 10 plus years. The only way to take this state back and get it back onto a conservative path is by having those conversations one-on-one. So please, this week, wherever you're at, whether it's the grocery store, whether it's a gas station, whether it's with your kids and talking about school and all the issues with schools, talk about how it doesn't have to be this way. The problem you're seeing in front of you, it's connected to politics, and bridge that gap. So with San Diego Young Republicans, we have an event coming up on Monday. If you're interested in coming out to Santee, come hang out with us. We're having conversations with local elected officials, and we're talking about California's toughest issues and the best ways to solve them. So have those conversations this week. Remember that California is worth saving. The people in this room stuck around. There's many friends and family and neighbors that have left, but we're the ones sticking around to fight. Thank you guys. Really appreciate your time today.